every week. I produce videos of inspiration with a touch of challenge in there as well, and some more wisdom to bring more vibrancy to your life. I want to help people to live to their fullest potential, to
Yes.
eliminate the things that hold us back. And sometimes it's those subtle shifts from going to say, everything's going to go well for me today. I'm going to get up every day and proceed as if success is inevitable or not. And we get to choose.
All right. So, welcome to Wisdom on the Front Porch with this first episode with Donna. I am so excited that she's here. She's with Vibrant Living, or she is Vibrant Living. I just wonderful, wonderful woman. And I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit, talk a little bit about what she does, and then we'll have our conversation. So, hi, Donna. How are you?
Hello, LS. I am wonderful. I'm doing fabulous today. My name is Donna Tashjian, and that's the way you say it. Everybody struggles with that a little bit. I'm the founder of Vibrant Living International. I happen to reside in Grand Rapids, Michigan area. If you haven't visited Michigan, it is beautiful. You need to check it out. I have been coaching and mentoring predominantly women for over 30 years, helping people to live vibrantly and confidently and authentically, and letting go of the things that stop us from doing that. I love the title of your podcast.
Thanks.
I just sat in it for a minute and thought about wisdom on the front porch. I grew up in South part of the US, and front porches and sitting and visiting with a cup of iced lemonade on a hot day or a cup of tea. I've got my iced tea right here.
I've got juice.
Yeah. And so is, and I think about wisdom. One of the things that I say is there is so much information in this technology world. You can Google anything and find out information about things, but it's harder to find wisdom on how to apply what I need for my life.
Wow.
And that's what I
That's
thought of
beautiful. Yeah.
when I thought about wisdom on the front porch. Is it can be, and I pray that the first listeners to this, that the conversation we have, that there will be wisdom for what they need
Yeah.
in that, in this moment.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that. That was when I thought of it. Front porches are just amazing. Whether they're small, whether you're just
Mhm.
sitting out on the lawn because you don't really have a
Mhm.
porch. Maybe you're sitting on the balcony at your apartment.
Mhm.
Um, just sitting outside
Yeah.
and people that you meet and talk with and um, it's just amazing. I think of conversations. I was talking with a young friend of mine, and she goes, "Well, we all meet in the cafe, and the digital cafes, and we go there, and still front porch attitude, just in a different
Mhm.
place." Um, but she was saying it's kind of old fashioned. That's what my parents did, and it's like, yeah. Yeah, because we all got together. I think of my parents and getting together with their siblings and that was the time you talked together. I remember sitting with my grandma and we'd snap beans or peas or
Mhm.
something, cut peaches up for later, depending on the time of year we were there. But what I loved the most was the interactions with each other, the conversations they had as far as talking about things that happened in the past, the ingenuity they had to come up because that was at the time of the Great Depression.
Right.
And with my great grandparents, it was before then. And you had to come up with things on your own. How did you make things stretch? How did you just live daily life? And then, for those who are more musically inclined, you sit on the front porch and somebody's always picking a guitar or banjo, doing some kind of music. You're still enjoying each other, but you're talking through a different language when you're talking with music.
Mhm.
you know, you have this conversation. I love it when you have something like dueling pianos or dueling banjos or something like that, because it's the music is having a conversation with each other and it's so
Mhm.
enjoyable. But yeah, it's those conversations and that time together and learning from what's been happened before, what are things that are going to be tried, talking about their day. Um,
Oh,
that's one thing I liked about doing our magazine, Wisdom on the Front Porch, the e-magazine or the print magazine, is for entrepreneurial culture and lifestyle. Because as entrepreneurs, we not only have our own business to run, but a lot of us are running it from home with the kids, with the grandkids,
mhm.
with the family, with maybe it's a couple and you each have your own business going on and you have to connect
Yeah.
everything together. So this kind of gives us a place to connect and talk and just enjoy being in each other's presence, but learning and gaining maybe some refreshment. I love your calmness about you. I love how you make things calm. You just bring a presence that's like, okay, we can take just a few minutes here and talk. Let's talk about this, which I'd love for you to talk to my Value in You Academy women via, yay, put a little plug in for there. But
Yes.
it's great because what I love about that community, and it's from women 40 to 65, but other ages are welcome too. But it's there to uplift each other, support each other, to bounce ideas off of each other and be a very safe place, not a catty place, not a place to gossip and things like that.
Mhm,
That's not what it's
mhm.
about. It's about really building each other up. So I love the title you have, Vibrant Living. If you move your head to the side, everybody can see it real quick. There we are, Vibrant Living. That's just, I mean, just the words itself energize you. Vibrant living. We're not just drudging day through day. We're taking it on head on. So tell us more about what is vibrant living?
Vibrant living is a place where people can learn how to overcome life's pain and
Uh,
disappointment. I don't know, I've not met anyone who hasn't had that. Some
Yeah,
kind of pain and disappointment in their life. And the way that you bounce back from pain and disappointment determines how vibrant you are living. It's so easy to get stuck in those moments. And if you have followed me at all, you know about some of my story. Whenever you teach on something, it meant you went through it.
yes.
And so helping to people, one of my programs, one of my first ones I created is called Turn Your Baggage into Luggage so you can have the
Oh,
life you've dreamed. And
interesting.
so, how do you bounce back from all of that? One of the main things uh, people talk to me about that's coming up as we're sitting here thinking about what wisdom to share today is what do we do with overwhelm?
Yeah,
You know, we before we started recording, you asked me a little bit about that. It's like there's so many things to do in the day. It's like, how do you get
yeah.
it all done? And how do you do it with calm and grace and ease, or which is I teach how to live from those places. Do it the easy way, to live
Yes.
from a place of ease and grace, not hurry, struggle. Oh my God, I can't get it all done. What am I going to do? And begin to be stressed. And, you can just feel it shift there as I
I
talked
felt
like,
the shift just as you were
yes,
talking. And it's
yes,
like all of a sudden
exactly.
it's like, ah,
Yeah. And we've all been there. Even though we may
yes.
look calm on the outside, our feet are like going crazy underneath the water, like the ducks. It's like,
Yes.
we look like we got it all together, but we're panicking on the inside. And women, even, I mean, we think that we'll get our to-do list done, but it really doesn't ever happen. So
Yeah.
one of the most profound things that one of my coaches said to me, I called her in tears. One of those days where it's like, there's just too much. I can't get it all done. And I'm feeling this way and that way and just overwhelmed. And it was one of those times where really if I was on the porch with someone, I would have wanted them to hug me and say, Donna, I know it's so hard, and like to pat me on the back and just let me cry a minute. And we need those times.
Yeah.
That's not what she did though. Not what she did. It was
Oh,
a phone call. It wasn't a Zoom call. It was a phone call, but that's not, I've done that over the phone, with people. And she didn't do any of that. She just matter of factly listened to me till I kind of took a breath. And she says, do you want to know what overwhelm is? I'm like, well, I know what overwhelm is. I can't get it all done, and I started to spin again. And she's like, take a breath. Do you really want to know what overwhelm is and how to avoid it? I'm like, well, of course. She said, overwhelm is when you are picturing, expecting,
mm,
imagining it not going well and that you're going to fail.
wow.
And I stopped and thought about that. It's like, it's so true. We start spinning, going, I can't, the kids need this, and this person needs that, and this project is due, and I've got to be here for this meeting. And through all of that, somehow, I can't get this all done, is the thought. And
Yeah.
somehow I'm going to mess up, fail, or let somebody down. And never mind taking care of me in the middle of all of that. So I've begun this thought process. If you follow the thoughts and not really the thoughts, the activities, I am imagining, picturing, expecting that I'm going to fail somehow and mess up.
Mm,
That is what triggers overwhelm. Now I can look
makes
at the same
sense.
list. I can look at all of that same list and begin to prioritize what's most important and when I can do it and learn to
Mm,
make the transition. I mean, you talked about we're working at home. So I'm making the
yeah.
transition to being live on a podcast. And then the next thing I may do is go have to do something with not have to, get to do something with my grandkids. And so I'm shifting from being on to being
Yeah.
grandma. And I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to do all of that. Or mom. It's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're homeschooling at home a lot more while we're trying to run businesses and do Zoom calls and dogs are barking and delivery trucks are coming. And that happens to me all the time. And all of this stuff. And so making the transition of one thing to another.
Yeah.
So one of the nuggets of wisdom I want to drop for today is to get up every day and to proceed as if success is inevitable. What
Oh,
if you couldn't,
that's awesome.
what if you couldn't fail? What if failure wasn't an option? You did all that you could do that day and you let go of the feeling that somehow you failed or you didn't do enough.
Yeah.
And you got up every day and prioritized what was most important and perhaps when to do it, take Johnny to the doctor at 2 o'clock and I've got to do this and, all of the things that we do. But look at your day at the beginning of your day or the night before and prioritize and then have
Yeah.
a good night's sleep. And
Yeah.
being
That's
able to get up every day with that intention. I will get up every day and proceed as if success is inevitable,
that's
even when I
awesome.
don't know the outcomes.
Yeah. Last night I was on a Zoom call in a meeting and they were talking about some of the things that they do to get ready for the day. But somebody said, I actually get ready the night before. The night before, I look at my schedule
Mhm.
and see what needs to be done. So I'm ready for it in the morning. And you talking about having that attitude in the morning. When my granddaughter was here, she saw I've got a little coloring paper that I have on the wall, and it says, something wonderful is going to happen today.
Mhm.
And she saw that. And we talked a little bit about it. And every morning, I didn't text her today, but even after she's been home, we're texting each other. And I go, guess what? Something wonderful is going to happen today. and we would tell each other that. I mean, it was great in person. You're right there. And it's like you get that energy boost. And it's like, yeah, if I keep thinking something wonderful is going to happen, then I'm going to look for that wonderful thing to happen. And
Absolutely.
sure enough, absolutely sure enough, every day something wonderful did happen.
But if you
And
look for the opposite,
yes,
you'll find it
yes.
too.
Or if you
Because
don't
some
even look for it,
exactly.
you might miss it, you know?
Because the
Yeah.
opposite is true. If you look for or kind of expect somewhere I'm going to mess up today, somewhere things aren't going to, something's going to go not go wrong, and something's going to go wrong because most of the time everything doesn't go quote perfect. I do air
Yeah.
quotes when I say that. But if I'm looking for it, it's intensified as
Yes.
opposed to the other way around where I'm looking for something. I say God likes to surprise me every day. I'm going to watch for them.
I love
And
that. I love
and
that. Yeah.
so that's another way to, I mean, it's simple things like picking out what you're going to wear the night before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Have it all ready to go.
Planning your lunch or planning meals, all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff reduces all of that mental activity.
Oh,
Women's brains are
absolutely.
never still, very
Yeah.
rarely.
That's for
And
sure.
so, it's like I did this the night before. I'm like, I'm going to be on a podcast. This is what I want to wear today.
Yeah.
Um, and so just looking at all of that, but it shifts your day when your expectation is for good, which is what you said.
Yes. Yeah.
And your expectation is that I'm going to do well. Even when I get an unexpected surprise or things doesn't go exactly, I am going to handle it with grace and
That's
ease.
awesome. I love
And
that.
it changes the way that you face your day. You're not
Yes.
snapping at your children, you're not irritable with yourself, and you can even allot some self-care somewhere along the day. I know I felt like women were going, "Oh my God, I can't do that." But you really can. You
Yeah.
really can. And learning to have quiet moments um, throughout the day to recharge, to shift, to all of those kind of things. Um, and I think if our listeners implement just that, it will transform their life.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that. And I think part of self-care is having that good attitude because if we're less stressed, we're a lot happier and we're taking care of ourselves. You mentioned something earlier, it reminded me of a quote that I posted today on social media. And that's why I went and got my phone because I wanted to make sure who said it. And Henry Ford said, if you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. So yeah, if we're looking for failure, we're going to find it or we're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that sounds like, well, what do you mean I'm going to make failure happen? Nobody wants to fail, but because we're looking for it, we're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's there and it's crazy that there's that mindset and I don't even think we realize sometimes that we're doing it. Um, yeah. So when here's another quote that I actually heard last night. I was watching the show Tucker, and it's not about Tucker Carlson. It's about the Tucker car, and about his life and what was going on. And there was a quote, and it's like, I had to look it up. I made my husband pause the show. I looked it up, sent it to me with his phone because mine was clear back here in the office. And it says, problems are just opportunities in work clothes.
Mhm.
And I thought, wow, that's kind of profound, and it was quoted by Henry J. Kaiser. And it's like, well, is that a real person? It's like, yeah, he was a real person. So yeah, so if there is a problem, a failure, something that gets in the way, and we're expecting something good, but something still happens, just think of it as an opportunity that we get to work with and we get to make it into something even better than what it's presenting itself as.
Mm.
I know this mindset thing is new to me. I didn't know people had mindsets. I knew if people are always grumpy and down in the dumps and always looking at the worst of things, they're always going to find it. I grew up seeing that and hearing it, but I didn't know it was something you could affect up here. I know if they looked at the more positive that change would happen, but I didn't understand all the process and everything that went with it. And that mindset, starting your day out thinking something wonderful is going to happen, you're looking for it.
Yeah.
There's wonderful things that happen to us all day long. We just need to stop and look for them. And yeah, and I'm sure you've seen this with all that you've been doing, is women are really busy, but sometimes we make ourselves busy. And
Yes.
part of that, I think, is because we feel that if we aren't busy, then we're failing. We're
Yep.
not being complete.
Absolutely.
But yet, you got to take that self-care. Self-care is part of the busyness. A friend of mine, she goes, I am no longer busy.
Yep. I
I
don't use
am
that word either.
productive.
Yep.
Yeah, I am productive. And right away, that changes from busy from all of this work that has to get done to productive. Well, that means I'm accomplishing something. And
Yeah.
it's like, all of a sudden, you're lifted up a little bit. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
busy. I'm productive today. You just feel it when you say it.
Yeah, I don't say my schedule, my day is busy. My day is full is the word that I've used, and it's full of the things I choose to put in it.
Oh, no, I love that when you've got a good definition for it. You know,
Because we don't often feel like we have a choice either on some things that happen,
that's true.
especially when my children were little or somebody, somebody's, or there's deadlines that some of your boss throws at you or something
Yeah,
like that. But my life is full of what I choose because we always have a choice.
yeah.
I have a program called Choose Joy because we
Oh, I
always
love
have a
that.
choice. We really do have a choice of what we want to think about. I I forget the technical name at this moment, so I know that that's okay.
It is.
But that when you notice, like if you get a new car and all of a sudden you start noticing that car everywhere you go, and
Yeah,
that car was there all along. It was in all those places because you were going in the same place as you were before, but all of a sudden you now notice that car because you have purchased one and you're focused on that attention. And it's the
yeah,
same thing for good. The good is there all along, or there is usually things that could irritate us
yeah.
in our day. There are both. What are you wanting to amplify? And
That's really good. I'm glad you brought that word up. I didn't mean to interrupt while I did, but um, because as you're saying that, I'm thinking, well, there's always someone's pushing my buttons. And so are you amplifying what they're pushing? Are they used to getting certain reactions out of you, especially if you have kids? Boy, do they know how to push our buttons, right? But what if you take it and they're trying to push your button and you don't react?
Mhm.
And it takes effort. Boy, does it take effort. Somebody had mentioned this to me when I had kids. And um, so it was, gosh, how do I change what I've just been reacting to all this time? And it really works when you have teenagers. So if you practice it when they're little, you've got better attitude for it and more power to you when they're
Mhm.
teenagers. But it's, if they're used to pushing your buttons and all of a sudden they don't get the reaction, now you're doing what you said, you're taking charge, you're changing what's going on. You
Yeah.
are in control of the situation. And it's like, wow. I see we're getting close on our time. I really thank you for being here. I want to continue this. This is great. We're going to have to get together again and have you back on the show. I really appreciate it. So,
I would
Donna,
love to.
oh, that's great. Yay. So tell people how they can get a hold of you.
The way that you can find out a lot about me is my website, and it is the letter I, vibrantliving.com. And I am on all social media, well, most social media platforms. So you could reach out to me there as well. My name is unusual, so it's easy to find. And I have a YouTube channel called the Vibrant Living International YouTube channel, where every week I produce videos of inspiration with a touch of challenge in there as well, and some more wisdom to bring more vibrancy to your life. I want to help people to live to their fullest potential, to
Yes.
eliminate the things that hold us back. And sometimes it's those subtle shifts from going to say, everything's going to go well for me today. I'm going to get up every day and proceed as if success is inevitable or not. And we get to choose which way we want to do. And I bless this new podcast and all that you're doing. And thank you for allowing me to be
I
first
received that.
guest.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Yes, and we'll put the replay on wisdomonthefrontporch.com. The website isn't quite up yet, but it should be up by the end of this month. Want to make sure I get all the branding, the colors, and everything right. So when you look for it, you know it's there. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
I recognize that. So still going through the process, but that's okay. It's all part of the growth and learning, and it's enjoyable to do. Thank you, Donna, again so much for being here. Thank you, our audience, for being here and listening and watching, whether you're watching the replay on YouTube or listening to the audio part of it. We just appreciate that you're here. And we hope you have a vibrant living day today here on Wisdom
Yay.
on the Front Porch. All right. Thank you.
All righty. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today on Wisdom on the Front Porch with your host, Ellis Kirkpatrick. You can find us on our website, wisdomonthefrontporch.com, see previous episodes of the podcast, and view issues of the magazine. Did you know you can submit questions, leave reviews, or suggest topics? You can also tell us where your favorite front porch location is and what it means to you. We hope you gain value and insight from today's or previous talks. We appreciate your support for us so we can continue to provide value and expertise to you and others. Subscribe to Wisdom on the Front Porch magazine and receive a second year absolutely free. This is a limited time offer available exclusively to those who mention the name of today's podcast. Join in next week when we bring you another great insight into the world of entrepreneur culture and lifestyle. Make today a great day. Always believe that something wonderful is going to happen.